What's up, guys? I took a break from the last time I hit day 100. So I took a week off and competed at the East versus West qualifier. Full live stream is on the Table Monkeys channel, as well as the pay-per-view, which is on balam.live. It was crazy quality, and it's only $6, so it's like really worth it. If you're into arm wrestling. So my first match is with this guy Christian from California. One thing I remember is him not wanting to let me load or not loading with me, so having to, lessen my load a little bit. That sounds weird. But yeah, and then off the go. I remember the slip was good, but also felt really weird because his pressure just kind of disappeared. So as soon as the go happened, it felt like I was pulling into the air, like all of his hand and arm just went away. So I guess because neither of us were holding on, but he didn't even slip up top. So it was a really weird feeling. But so I was like, if I had that sensation of flopping someone's hand back, I would be even more confident. But based off of that slip, I was already pretty confident going into the straps because, usually I'm a lot better in the straps, and I was just thinking if I didn't get into trouble outside, there's no way I will in the straps. That's kind of my mindset. And I was doing the same thing in the straps, just loading back a lot and trying to top roll. And I remember feeling some pressure on through my wrist, but it was a very comfortable win for me, and it gave me a lot of confidence. And after that, I was just, most of the nerves went away. I think overall I did a really good job managing my energy, because sometimes it's overwhelming, but I just try to keep calm until like right before. Second match was with Dylan Courrier, who, I knew he was coming inside, and I was thinking, I'm just gonna load back, and then for me, if I land in an inside but with a good hand position, that was okay for me. If I were more desperate to get out of his hand, maybe I could have done more, but for me, I was kind of content with like loading back, and then just, if it lands inside, it lands inside, and I'll be able to sort of hit on him, which did kind of happen. I got to surge a little bit, and right off the go, I felt pretty good because I was in my strong spot, but he was stronger and just drove through me, and I resisted like as I was getting pinned. So it wasn't like I got completely thrown to the side, but he was stronger than me, and I definitely could feel it in my elbow after just that short pull. Just all that tension trying to combat his strength. And here I'm pulling Will Walsh as my first right hand match. At this point, I had taken my second caffeine pill, and for some reason I was really buzzing, like my heart was pounding, and I was just trying my best to calm it down so that it wasn't overwhelming. And with this guy, I had a long setup as well. He was very stubborn in the setup, which I am as well, and a lot of messing around. And eventually we landed in the set grip, and when it gets in the set grip, I get a little bit I'm okay with the set grip, but sometimes as we're about to start, I get a little bit nervous about because I'm not able to like establish all the security and feeling comfortable that I can outside of the set grip. But so the first set grip, I was thinking, I'm just gonna go outside and try to slip. And Miguel kept telling me, he's coming inside. So I'll top roll people that are hooking me, right? So just try to go outside, and he just really dominated my hand. He had a really, really strong and thick hand. and I was just trying to slip out, and he kept following me and pushed me off the back, or it felt like that, and then, which is kind of good because then I got the restart off the foul. And yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was gonna get pinned, but I had no way of getting out of there either. So second time I flopped under, and definitely hard, like not easy to execute. Like I had to keep a lot of things on my mind. Like Miguel kind of tells me, to load these pressures and then let go. So I was trying to do that. Also change up my body position a little bit, but also seem like I'm, also maybe top rolling. So, and later I tried to slip under with Dan Belfay, and it didn't work out. So I think, maybe I can work on that a little bit as well. Like, because I think one of the things is I'm so tight to my arm that I can't really load back pressure, like, because my arm's like already, like, my upper arm and forearm are like touching already. So that's just something I noticed in the setup and some of these, because when I'm trying to press, I'm getting really, really tight, and I can't really. It's like it's not a genuine setup where I would top roll from, which is like, for me, like, it would be better if I could give more of a threat there and then switch up, if that makes sense. And with Will in the setup in the strap, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but he kind of like adjusted or rose in the setup, while they were tying the strap, which is like not, it's pretty normal still, but I complained a lot. And even though the strap felt like okay, like it was decent, I practiced with like way worse wraps, but I kept telling them that it was super high at the back of my hand. And then they redid the whole strap, and then this time they were really telling him, Will, like, if you move, it's going to be a foul, all this stuff. And I felt, I had a little more room to, like, wiggle around, which, like, every time they tighten the strap, it's, like, the funniest thing. I just slide my elbow, like, so slowly that, like, if you call it, you would seem paranoid. But it's there, and I think that's so funny when I do that. And when they tighten the strap, I always rise up. But here I was able to get such a good strap, and engage my riser like really fully. And the feeling that you get when you get that is you feel that you have so much height on the other guy, which I guess is when you really, control the top strap. Your fingers are coming straight down and pushing down on their rise, so they can't even re-grip you, like, and take it back, because I can just dominate their rise with all my fingers, whereas usually you have to fight their rise with your rise, kind of. And that's like sort of the feeling to describe it. But I had everything engaged, and off the go I remember just trying not to get turned palm up, and as soon as my pronation stuck, I just remember being at the pin pad. The rest came naturally. Like, if I'm not getting turned palm over, usually, that's like more than I can ask for. See if I'm gonna run out of battery. Okay, I have 4%. Next match here with Matt Hamlin, and I've seen this guy flash Alexander, and I've heard all these things, and I was definitely feeling like I mean, I wasn't scared or sad that I was like gonna lose to this guy. It was more like going into it, I just felt that I had nothing to lose. Just wanted to see what was up, and did a lot of messing around the setup, and surprisingly he was not that strong. Like, he wasn't able to control me in the fight, and where we were just like like jostling in the setup. Whereas that has happened, like when I pulled Philip at Provincials, his fingers were so strong that when I set up, he squeezed, and I was like, oh, I'm fucked, and I like let go and try to reset the setup like 3 times, and even when I was just fully loading and trying to manipulate everything, he was just so strong that he could just hold me there and not move, which is something that, like, I know people can do, like, but in this case, a lot of times, he would let up and try to reach around and get a new grip, and I would just continue to, you know, try to bully, like, you know, hand tied or whatever, and he was actually kind of letting me. And same thing with the slip. I felt that there's a lot of ways, if you're the stronger guy, that you can really punish someone that's trying to slip under. And I didn't feel that with him at all. It was like painless and comfortable getting under, and the first time I slipped under him, I felt like powerful, you know, like I was like doing something, and I think his elbow went off or up, or I don't know, I didn't see it, but they called an elbow foul, and so it's like technically, you know, I was ahead of him at that point, right? Because he has one foul, I didn't have a foul. So, and then in the strap setup, I had the exact same super good setup that I was describing earlier, where I was just pushing down on his rise and pronation. Just felt I had all the control, and off the go, still with the good setup, I was expecting to land, like, I was expecting my hand to go to my pin pad, basically. And like, I was thinking, let me just charge my laptop. That's probably not the best mindset to have, but it's just something that happens when I, you know, pull some really strong guys I never pulled before. It's like, it's not that I'm giving up, like I'm giving everything I have, but the mindset is like, okay, here we go, I'm just holding on for dear life. But off the go, his hand like sort of crumbled under, and I felt his wrist go, and I was just like, oh, what the fuck? And it was like, you know, it happened so quickly, but before the go happened, I was thinking, you know, I'm gonna Kings move this guy, which is like a goofy idea, like it doesn't even make sense now that I think about it, but, you know, maybe there was like a second of hesitation there, because I was like, you know, had that idea, and I wasn't sure where to go. I wasn't expecting really to take his hand, so I was thinking, you know, maybe I could have made some changes technically with this guy, but, you know, overall, like, definitely, you know, he's as strong as fuck, and just the fact that I was like somewhat in it, where, you know, like, he, like, I compromised his hand and everything. It was definitely a good sign for me. And the next match I had was with Dan Belfay. This is the final match of the day. With this, I was, you know, trying a lot of, like, mess around a lot on the setup too, and I felt that it was not going to be easy to get out of his hand. And in that first where he just pinned me there, I was just trying to slip outside, and he just went straight to the side. But they called a false start, so went again. But I already knew that lane was not going to work, so tried to slip under. But that didn't work either. He just contained it and pinned me right away. And he told me afterwards, like, oh yeah, like, you felt tired, which is probably like to make me feel better. But yeah, I mean, I probably was a bit pumped at that point, but, you know, Dan is a very strong guy, and he would beat me just as easily if I was fresh. But overall, you know, like, I mean, at first I was a little disappointed, because I realized that I wasn't as far off as I thought in terms of, like, you know, being able to make the finals. A lot of guys that I was able to pin, like, well, I don't know about a lot of guys, like Dylan and Will, I pinned in my first match, and they were in the final, so it's like, you know, I wasn't that far off. So, you know, at first I was like, oh fuck, I could have maybe done better, but, you know, overall it's just great experience. Like, I know I've said this a bunch of times, you know, to just, like, people around me, but it really was impressive, the scale of the event, you know, with the venue and the number of pullers, the caliber of pullers, just the technical setup. I mean, I couldn't believe how cool it was that there was a whole room downstairs where people were chilling and eating food and arm wrestling, and on the screen, like, they were playing the live feed from what was happening upstairs, and with the mic was, like, the mic was relaying the sound, and it was, like, flawless. And I was like, holy shit, this is like, you know, like going to a sports bar, going to, like, an NBA game where you're in the arena, and then, you know, you step outside and all the screens are showing the games. it had that feeling, and probably even like less delay. But that was really incredible, and the way the event ran really smoothly. Like, a lot of times you go to a tournament and it feels like it's taking longer than it should, and just the little small things, it's taking so much time to set up or call names, and it's like, I was never like a big hater of that. Like, I was always kind of like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's not like people are giving these guys like a bunch of money to do it. Like, a lot of times, like, they're putting money up from their own pockets, losing money. So my expectations were never that high, but with this, like, I was just like, wow, it can be this good. So that was really cool. And again, like, not to mention the pay-per-view, like, the quality is like, they had different camera angles, cameramen like walking around, like, what the fuck, and only for $6. So, again, it was a great party. Had a lot of fun. Definitely go buy the pay-per-view if you weren't there. The next competition I have will be probably provincials, which is only in like a month, so I have a few thoughts about that too. So I'll probably try to keep posting these and let you guys know. And thanks so much for watching.